All right, so let's get some red ones. It's $3 for a bundle.
Yep.
Hello, Daddy.
What's up, kiddo?
But see snowflakes, Daddy?
I do see them. Yep, we got silver pine cones.
Yes. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominique Davis, also known as Brown and Bendy, and here on this channel we practice flexibility of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Today's video is going to be so impactful and so important if you have found that you've had trouble manifesting wealth and abundance in the past. Or maybe you've manifested a little bit and then the well has dried up and you want to learn how to jumpstart that again. I'm so excited to bring this video to you because this video is actually a results video of my 21-day journey to financial freedom meditation challenge. So if you are a part of that, you'll get to know about my results. And if you weren't a part of that, I'll explain more when we start the video. Now, before we get started, I would like to ask, if you haven't already, please make sure that you are subscribed so that you can be around for my next video. Also, please make sure that you click the notification bell. Also, if you would like to join my community on a more intimate level, go ahead and type these words into that URL box that should be somewhere up there. Type these words in and it'll take you to a Facebook group that you can request to join. This is the Manifestation Yoga Collective. This is a group of those who consider themselves to be reality benders, those who consider themselves to be a part of the Bendy Bunch, who are dedicated to becoming better versions of themselves as well as manifesting. So if you want to join this group, you can ask questions, you can answer questions if you feel like you have some insight, and you can just talk to the community in a little bit more of a convenient way. So there's also going to be a link in the description box if you don't feel like typing this. Okay, let's get to the video. About 2 weeks ago, I ended my manifestation challenge that I hosted in the Manifestation Yoga Collective. And what this challenge was that you basically listen to a meditation that I made for 21 days. And this meditation was dedicated to helping you raise your vibration so that you match the vibration of financial freedom. That's a big thing you have to understand about me. I'm all for manifesting short-term wealth, but that's not what I teach on my channel. I teach manifesting financial freedom and long-term wealth so that we can learn to get rid of that fear of running out of money, and so that we can open the floodgates of abundance so that we can continually grow until we get to the point where we don't really even think about money much anymore. So let's talk about my results. I practiced my meditation for about 20 minutes a day, and I wish I could say that most days I sat down and got myself to a deep subconscious meditative state, but that wouldn't be true. Maybe 10 out of the 21 days I traditionally meditated, and then the other 11 days I would put the meditation on while I was cleaning or I would use the meditation to fall asleep to. So just to give you some disclosure, if you want to do the challenge yourself, you do not have to chisel out time every day to sit and meditate if that is not something that seems obtainable to you right now. That being said, if you did participate in the challenge and you did meditate traditionally while using the guided meditation, please comment down below to tell me about your results because I'm very, very interested. So I manifested money. I have become quite talented at manifesting chunks of money, which I'm very grateful for. So I did manifest money. I also manifested sponsorships for my channel, which goes more so into the financial freedom aspect of the challenge because it aligns with what I consider to be my career right now, what I consider to be work. But hands down, the most influential part of the meditation was the epiphanies that I had. I had these epiphanies during meditation when I was sitting down and slowing the mind down. And I also had these epiphanies randomly throughout the day. About 5 to 6 days into using the meditation, I started to notice that I was thinking a little bit differently. And that was really, really exciting. To me, manifesting is about changing the way that you think so that you can change what you attract, because our thoughts create our reality. So when you start to see a change in your belief system, when you start to see a change in the way your brain is working without any effort from you, that is monumental. And I started to see that around day 5, day 6 in a tiny way. And then closer to the end of the challenge, it was just like epiphanies everywhere. So let me just begin to share these epiphanies with you. So the first big epiphany that I had was the reminder, really, of the importance of staying present. For myself, while doing this meditation, I was able to practice awareness of when I was shooting my energy and shooting my attention to thoughts of the future. If you're an entrepreneur, then you know that you don't always get a consistent check every week. So being an entrepreneur and having a lack mindset can be a dangerous combination. And sometimes I do find myself falling into a lack mindset when it comes to thinking about how I'm going to manifest money. So the meditation brought this back up for me and it made me aware of it. I realized that I had a habit of shooting my attention to 3, 4, 5 months down the line, like doing the math to figure out how far my savings could take me and then shooting my attention at that point so that I can focus on being broke 5, 6 months in the future. And that just made me figure out that I have everything I need right now. But because I can fall into a lack mindset, my brain feels more comfortable thinking about a time when I can possibly be broke. And then this clarity came, and to this day, I will never forget. This clarity was so loud in my mind, and it said, if you focus on being broke, if you focus your attention on 5, 6 months in the future where you can possibly be broke if you don't make any money in 5 or 6 months, then you turn being broke from a fear to an eventuality. My brain communicated with me in such a helpful way where it was just like, you know how the law of attraction works. You know how you create your reality. You are doing this. So the reason why I feel like I have been blocking portions of my own financial freedom is because of this habit of daydreaming and thinking about down the road, when in reality, I should be thinking about here and now because I'm good. Thinking about the here and now, thinking about today, thinking about the abundance that I have right here in this moment, not half a year from now, but right now, I'm able to realistically feel gratitude and abundance in myself and in my vibration instead of projecting myself to the future. So that was a really big epiphany for me, and I hope that it resonates with you, and I hope that it helps you. The importance of being present. This is also a really important lesson for those of us who may be in situations where we are short on money and we need to pay rent next week, or we need to pay a car note next week. It can be really beneficial to acknowledge that you are trying to manifest an amount of money while still realizing that in this moment you are provided for, because it is so necessary to attach to that energy of being provided for in order to release the resistance, in order to release the fear, so that you may manifest the money that you need. Remembering to stay present and say, I have gratitude for everything I have right here and right now. That type of mindset will allow you to perpetuate being provided for, perpetuate attracting money, perpetuate having a wealthy lifestyle. The second epiphany that I had was realizing that I am the bag. I think I've talked to you guys about this before. My little sister and I, we say it to each other all the time, but this meditation made it hit different. My sister and I, we always say to each other, you are the bag. You are what attracts the money, not what is in your surroundings. No one gives you the money, but you've attracted the money based on the person that you are and the person that you are in this reality. So that just hit me a little bit different this time, because I realized that I tend to hyper focus on my business plans as far as focusing on the value versus focusing on the profit. And I work very hard to make sure that anything that I put my energy into to make sure that that provides value. But when working on paper plans, like seeing the way that this business endeavor will unfold in front of me, I tend to get really caught up on the numbers. And numbers are important. No one's saying that numbers aren't important, but I tend to hyper focus on the numbers. So while doing this meditation during this 21 days, I finally embodied something that I always knew, but I wasn't embodying it. I finally embodied the belief that I'm going to attract whatever amount of money my vibration aligns with. It doesn't matter how hard I'm working on business plans. It doesn't matter how hard I'm going at YouTube, whether I'm coming out with 1, 2, 3, 4 videos a week. It doesn't matter whether I decide to change my career next week. None of that matters. All that matters is my vibration and what I believe I am capable and worthy of attracting into my life. This allowed me to remember that I am dedicating my life to being intentional about my career moves, intentional about how I make money, because that makes me happy. I don't want to make money by mistake. I want to give value and make that value back. So remembering that I'm raising my vibration to a place of I will attract what I attract based on who I am internally. Remembering that and embodying that allowed me to refine the joy in my business and career endeavors, because it gave me the clarity of realizing that I don't have to worry about making mistakes. I don't have to worry about doing certain things perfectly, because I'm not doing YouTube. I'm not making these business plans to make money. I'm gonna make the money that aligns with my vibration. I'm doing this because this is how I enjoy giving value. So the meditation brought me back to that center, which I am also so grateful for. All right, the big epiphany. This is something that I never realized, and this is something that changed my entire view of how I've been manifesting money. And if I did not stick with the challenge for 21 days, I do not know if I would have gotten here. I realized that I can have a fear of being broke. And a lot of us have a fear of being broke. But at some point during this meditation, my brain finally connected. If you had this deep fear of being broke, it came from somewhere. If you can embody this feeling of blocking your abundance completely, you learned how to do that before. You're not learning how to do it now and then perpetuating it in your life. You learned how to do it before. So having that epiphany, I was like, really? Well, where did this come from? And I started to think about my past, and we're going to do a really quick story time because y'all deserve. I don't share a lot about my past with you guys, so y'all deserve a little bit of insight about the brokest I've ever been. So, in my first marriage, I was married very young. I was 20 and he was 22. My first marriage was two children getting married who did not really know what they were doing. Now, that being said, before I was married, I was pretty good at manifesting money, and my self-worth, it wasn't the highest, but it also wasn't as low as it got within the marriage. So that being said, I didn't have trouble manifesting money, but I was making my own money. My ex-husband and I were not together building our finances as a family. We were kind of both just spending our own money in our own accounts. So that being said, I was a makeup artist at the time, and I also worked at Sephora, and I was hustling. I was doing pretty good for myself. And he was doing his thing. And I just remember that his phone always used to be ringing. He would look at it and he would ignore it. And look, with that man, his phone was ringing on some shady stuff lots of times. Okay, so after a while, well, actually, that was actually at the beginning of this all happened within our first few months of being married. So I wasn't suspicious of him yet. I just thought, hey, it's a scam caller. Whatever. I'm not going to think too deeply about it. I had just graduated from college and I was still very naive. Very, very naive. And he kept getting these calls. I kept ignoring it, even though my intuition was telling me it meant something. I just kept ignoring it. My ex and we averaged about $2,000 in our account at all times, in our shared account at all times. So we had our own accounts that we were spending money out of, and then we had a joint married account, and there was $2,000 in that account at all times. Now, $2,000 is not a lot when your rent is $1,000 and you have utilities and a car note, 2 car notes. $2,000 is not much. So that being said, one day I'm at work at Sephora doing makeup, and then my boss is like, hey girl, go to lunch. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go to lunch. So I go to lunch, I go to Chick-fil-A, give them my debit card, and they say, there's nothing on this card. And I remember it was payday. Oh my God. So I was like, that's impossible. My check cleared at midnight. That's absolutely impossible. So I was not able to get lunch. I did not pack lunch. And I do think that was the initial root of this deep feeling of blocking my wealth and abundance that I have developed. That first feeling of knowing that I have 5 more hours to work and I don't have the ability to buy food, and I have not eaten for the past 5 hours. So I sit at a table in the food court, I unlock my account, I open my account, and I just see zeros in each account. And that was wild to me because I always checked the account. I always checked the account before I went into work. So there was nothing in the account. So I'm just like, this has to be a mistake. This is impossible. So I call, and what they tell me is that they have been trying to contact my ex-husband for months about his student loans. and he did not respond. They said that at one point they did communicate with him to tell him what was going to happen, and he just ignored it. So they cleared our account out in order to collect the balance that he owed on his student loans. I begged them to give the money back, and they were just like, well, ma'am, this loan isn't in your name. And I remember the account, our shared account was with Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo was who he got his student loans through. So they were just able to take everything out of our account. And that's how the conversation ended. They were like, we need to speak with him to make some type of payment plan. So the whole process took about 2 weeks, and 2 weeks for him to feel the initiative to make the payment plan, get our money back, and, pay off all the things that I had to, organize to pay late. The whole process of this scrambling took about 2 weeks. And I think that those 2 weeks were way more impactful than I ever really allowed myself to realize. So then after all of that happened, and after everything was back to normal, except we were now paying another monthly fee for him to pay his loans, he was still getting calls. Which means that he stopped paying, and I guess he was pocketing that money in his own personal account that I couldn't see. And I just remember I was with him in the kitchen and his phone rang, and I was like, pick it up and put it on speakerphone. And it was the first time in our relationship that I chose not to trust him. And I was just like, just put it on speakerphone. And again, so impactful. And it was student loans. So I found out then and there that I had married someone who did not care about my mental health, who did not care about our joint financial situation, who did not care about our future. And then a person who was also very skilled at gaslighting me into believing that I was overreacting and that everything's going to be fine. For those 2 weeks, I didn't know if we were going to figure this situation out with the bank. I didn't know if I was going to be able to keep my car because my car note was due. I didn't know how I was going to get to work. I didn't know where our food was going to come from. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do small things like go to the gym and like eat out with friends. Because for, I want to say a week, we had nothing in that account. I was borrowing money, not borrowing. My mom doesn't, I don't borrow money from my mom. If I need it, she will give it to me. But I mean, my mom's not Bill Gates. So I was getting money from my mom just to be able to put gas in my car and get food to drive to work. But that's just not how I was raised. I was not raised to ask my disabled mom for money. I wasn't raised to do that. So this whole story, the meditation bought it out of my subconscious because I didn't even realize how hard I was working to not think about this time in my life. So when I really let myself revisit the memory and observe it without emotion, I realized exactly where this overwhelming, terrifying feeling of having $0.00 in my account came from, because I had experienced it, and I experienced it because of a person that I loved and trusted, and I experienced it for 2 weeks. And it's not funny, but what is funny to me is that I just didn't make this connection sooner. But what this meditation helped me do was bring this memory out of my subconscious, and I was able to tell myself that this was the past. And that was the most influential, wonderful part of the memory coming back up. Being able to tell my mind, being able to tell my conscious mind and my subconscious mind that this was the past and this is a vibration that I can let go of because it's not something I need to fear anymore, because I'm no longer with that man and my finances are dependent on me. I know how to get money fight another person, okay? And that is something that I was not sure of when I was younger. The freedom vibration is being able to tell yourself, I can afford it. Being able to believe that you can afford whatever life you want to live. Now, if you look in your bank account, you're like, this doesn't align. I cannot afford that car. I cannot afford those shoes. I cannot afford this, and that. That's okay. But what we want to make sure we do when we are approaching this freedom vibration is when we are observing something that we do want, when we are observing something that we would like to bring into our reality, we mentally say, I can afford that. And when we realize that, okay, I can't afford it right now, it's not in my bank account, it is important that we say, but it's coming. The two options are you either say that it is coming, or you subconsciously go back to whatever was the brokest you've been in your life. Now, I am very lucky. My mom provided for me when I was younger. I didn't want it for nothing when I was a child. So I don't have deep subconscious memories from my childhood of not being able to eat and not being able to afford food. Now, I'm not saying that those memories are harder to work with, but sometimes those memories can be more emotional, you know? So all this being said, when you see something that you want to bring into your reality, the only option is to say, I can afford it. And if you can lean into the vibration of, I can afford it, I can afford whatever I want, I can live the life that I want, you will be able to embody the freedom vibration. And that will allow you to continue to attract the money that you need to truly feel free. But this is a process of raising your vibration. And to get there, of course, the brain is going to say, of course, I don't have that money right now. Of course. But we have to monitor whether we say, but it's coming and I know it's coming, or whether we react in a way that allows our body to sink back to that place where we physically remember not having the abundance that we desire. Vibrationally, when we see something that we technically can't afford in the moment, where do we go? Where does our vibration go? And let's work to get to a place where whenever we see something we want to pull into our reality, we just say, I can already afford it. What this does is it teaches us to erase the vibration of fear within our body. We erase this vibration of fear and instead replace the vibration with a feeling of excitement and knowing and faith. When we think of money, we should not begin to sweat. We should not get nervous. We should not become anxious. And if we do, that just means that there are subconscious memories and subconscious beliefs associated with money that we must unlearn. But it's all a process that I'm so grateful I was given the ability to participate in, thanks to the meditation. So, yes, that was my experience with the 21-day journey to financial freedom meditation. If you would like to go on your own 21-day journey, I will put the meditation in the description box so that you can participate. I hope that this video didn't make it sound too scary, but I mean, it's 21 days. It's almost a month. It's more than half a month. It's a really long time to observe yourself and to observe how you approach money and prosperity and abundance. And it's not about the money. It's about the freedom of being able to live the lives that we want to live without constantly checking our bank account, without constantly checking our wallet, because we know that we are continually attracting abundance into our lives. All right. I hope that you enjoyed this video because I really enjoyed making it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up so other people on YouTube know that it is valuable and that they should watch it. Also, if you would like to Ask me a question if you would like me to expand on anything that I've talked about in the video. Just comment down below and I'll be happy to approach this topic in the future. Last but not least, if you are not subscribed and if you have not clicked the notification bell just yet, please do that so that you can be notified when I come out with another upload. Thank you so much for watching this video. I adore you with all my heart, and I will see you next time. Bye!